GR IAS Academy.
100 days, 100 things, one goal UPSC Prelims. Hello everyone, welcome back to Mission Surya. In this program, we deal with current affairs completely from prelims perspective. So let's get started. In our most probable question series, today we are reading about preparation because of Middle East war. So Modi is telling us to prepare for the crisis. So what does he mean by that? Okay. Nearly how much percentage of oil passes through Strait of Hormuz? Okay, 1/5. So 1/5 oil passes through the Strait of Hormuz. So imagine if this choke point is choked, what happens? What's there to imagine? We are already experienced, right? Energy crisis. So we are facing energy crisis right now. Why? Especially in our previous class we have mentioned that 90% of our LPG needs comes from Strait of Hormuz, right? So in this case, because of this zone is not accessible right now, there is energy crisis, right? So we are looking for alternate routes if available. Let's check them. So let's see about Strait of Hormuz first. So what is Strait of Hormuz? It is connecting. So here it is connecting Persian Gulf and Arabian Sea. So this is the Strait of Hormuz, right? Okay, it's very important for you to have the map point for this location because right now this is the most important location for our exam. So what is Strait of Hormuz? It is a transit route for global oil. Nearly 20 million barrels travels from this place per day. That is around 1/5 of the world's petroleum consumption. So due to its vulnerability and tensions in the politics, there are several pipelines and maritime paths have been developed to reduce the dependence on it. So let's have a look on them. So the first one is Saudi Arabia East-West Pipeline Petro Line. So here, if you see here, this is the Saudi Arabia East-West Pipeline. So it is connecting Upcake Eastern Gulf Coast to the Red Sea in Yanbu in the Red Sea. So what is happening here? Saudi Arabia has constructed this pipeline as an alternative for the Strait of Hormuz. If in case it is not accessible, it will send its oil to the Yanbu, which is nearer to Red Sea, and it will access this route to supply for Europe as well as other countries. So that's how Saudi Arabia's this East-West pipeline helps us as an alternative route for the Strait of Hormuz. So what is its length? Its length is around 750 miles and it carries 7 million barrels per day. And who operates this? Saudi Aramco. This was constructed in 80s. The main goal is to provide alternate route for the Strait of Hormuz. So they will transport oil to the Red Sea, to the Yanbu, right? From where Upcake Gulf Coast, Eastern Gulf Coast, directly to the Red Sea, so that they can export it to Europe as well as other markets which access through Red Sea. So it is the most significant alternate right now because of it handles around 7 million barrels per day. Okay, though it will not replace full volume because Strait of Hormuz handles 20 millions, right? Here it handles 7 millions, but still it is the most important right now, which is replacing the strait. And then comes the next alternative route, that is ADCOP. It is also known as Habshan Fuzira pipeline. So it is around 248 miles. Okay, it carries around 1.5 to 1.8 million barrels per day. So this line constructed by UAE, it allows to bypass the Strait of Hormuz and provides an alternative pipeline. So it will allow to export oil from Fujairah, and it lies outside the Gulf. So it will enhance the dependence on Strait of Hormuz for the country in case of any political conflicts, that is geopolitical conflicts. So the next one is Iran Gore Jask pipeline. So Gore to Jask, Gore oil terminal, Jask oil terminal. So that is why we have even specified in our last class that Jask is important port, right? So one alternative pipeline passes through this place. So it carries around 300,000 barrels per day. So Iran developed because there are sanctions on Iran, right? There are geopolitical conflicts around Iran. So Iran has developed in order to reduce its dependence on the Strait of Hormuz. So all these alternatives, they want to reduce the dependence on Strait of Hormuz. That's why they have developed these alternate routes. Even though it has very small capacity, right now it is helping us to diversify its export routes because of the sanctions and other conflicts. Our next route is Iraq-Turkey pipeline. So it is from Kirkuk to Ceyhan. So there is Kirkuk and Ceyhan. So it starts from northern Iraq to Mediterranean coast of Turkey. So usually most of the oil is transported from northern Iraq only. Okay. So this also provides to the alternative for Strait of Hormuz. It handles mainly from northern Iraq only. Because of the political disputes and security concerns and many challenges, it has faced difficulties right now to use. Okay. In case of India, so usually what happens, India will export oil from Strait of Hormuz, right? Right now it is choked. So what else is there? It can take from the Red Sea route, right? So here either it has to come from this way or it has to come from this way, right? So what happens, this way was very short for us. But now if we have to use around Africa, the length, travel time, the cost and everything will increase. So it becomes expensive for us. So the only two routes are available for us via the Suez Canal and travel around Africa. Okay. So they are expensive and longer. Even though they provide alternative for Gulf region, they are expensive and takes longer time. So let's see, we are getting from Nigeria and Angola. So they export crude oil, okay, without using Strait of Hormuz. So how they are exporting? They travel through the Atlantic Ocean and the southern coast of Africa into the Indian Ocean. So even though it increases transit time, they don't have risk. They carry very less risk because they are not traveling through the choke points. So they provide flexibility, okay, and even though they provide flexibility, they cannot carry 20 million barrels per day the Strait of Hormuz does, okay. So maximum they can handle is 10 million barrels, that is nearly half of the capacity of the Strait of Hormuz per day. So even though they provide as alternate pipelines and maritime routes, they cannot completely replace the Strait of Hormuz. They can only provide partial solution for our oil transit issues. Our next topic is IMEC. It's not next topic, actually related to the topic only. So IMEC is very important. Why? it provides connectivity linking India, Saudi, UAE, Jordan, Israel and Europe. So what corridor consists of? It provides sea routes connecting India to UAE, Middle East to Europe, rail networks are there, energy pipelines and digital cables are present. So UAE, India, they will be connected, okay, by sea routes, and so these will be connected by rail routes. This darker red line is rail route and dotted line is sea routes. So from here to here we are using sea route, from here to here we are using sea route, and here we are using rail route. So IMEC is an alternative corridor for India other than Strait of Hormuz. So why are we using it? To boost the trade and reduce the cost and travel time. It will provide alternative China's BRI, okay. It will strengthen supply, and by constructing hydrogen pipelines we are going to provide clean transition, okay. So what is its importance for us? Strategically it provides to become India as a global trade hub. So because of this IMEC we can strengthen our ties with Middle East and Europe, right? IMEC, right? It strengthens our relations with these countries and it provides alternate routes, okay. And how it influence in politics? It will counter China by providing alternative to BRI, right? It encourages cooperation between India, Europe, US and Middle East countries. So how it economically impacts us? Cargo will be moved faster, cost will be reduced for us to travel that cargo, and people will invest more in infrastructure of our country's projects. So okay, fine. Now let's discuss about some important topics from polity which have been in news. So Estimates Committee have completed 75 years, and to mark that 75th anniversary, 2-day national conference has been conducted in Mumbai, okay. So that is why we are studying about Estimates Committee. So it was constituted in 1950, okay, recommended by John Mathai. So it was constituted in 1950 on the recommendation of John Mathai. So he was a finance minister. So it replaced Standing Finance Committee before the independence. So who are part of the Estimates Committee? There will be total of 30 members who are elected from Lok Sabha and elected annually, and no one is from Rajya Sabha, completely from Lok Sabha only. And the election process is proportional representation, okay. And ministers are not eligible to be part of the Estimates Committee, okay. So it is the largest of the 3 financial committees in the Parliament, that is Estimates, Public Accounts Committee and Committee on Public Undertakings. So Estimates Committee will be the largest of 3. What are the functions of the Estimates Committee? So it examines the budget estimates and measures to ensure, and why it examines? To ensure efficiency of the public expenditure. It also suggests alternative policies in order to reduce the wastage of the resources, and it does not question the policy which is approved by the Parliament. It only suggests the alternative to reduce the expenditure, and it will check whether the money is used within the limits of the policy and suggest the improvements to improve the administrative reforms. it has few challenges as well, like it cannot examine the public accounts, okay. It cannot question the decisions already approved by the parliament, and they are only advisory in nature, okay. So there are few conditions to be a member of the estimates committee. So ministers cannot be, right, and if any person already a member, he gets appointed as a minister, then he cannot be member of estimates committee anymore, so he ceases to be a member. There is no provision for ex officio membership of ministers. So for exam point of view, what we have to remember? It consists of 30 members, everyone is from Lok Sabha only, there is no representation from Rajya Sabha, and it is the largest financial committee. It focuses on efficiency and economy. It is an advisory body, it cannot question any policies that are approved by the parliament, and ministers not allowed to be member of the estimates committee, even though if they have been a member earlier, once they get elected as a minister, they ceases to be member of the estimates committee. Now let's discuss about our think tank, Niti Aayog. So Niti Aayog replaced Planning Commission, right? So what it is? It gives the ideas to implement for the country, right? So but it doesn't involve any financially, okay. It just gives the ideas, but it does not give allocation of finances. So who are part of Niti Aayog? Prime Minister is the ex officio person, and then Vice Chairperson who is appointed by the Prime Minister, and it is not defined constitutionally. This Niti Aayog consists of full-time members, part-time members and ex officio members, okay. So all are appointed by the Prime Minister, and the rank is not same for everyone, okay. So in which body we have same rank for everyone in the body? Comment below. And then okay, the another member, Chief Executive Officer, he is also appointed by the Prime Minister. He holds the rank of Secretary to the Government of India. And there are few bodies, regional councils, that are created for the specific regions, and they will address any interstate or regional concern, and Prime Minister will be the chairperson, or he will nominate someone to be chairperson of this regional councils, and they include chief ministers of states and the lieutenant governors of relevant states, okay. And what are the functions of Niti Aayog? They provide ideas for strategic and technical purposes, and they provide federalism in a cooperative and competitive manner, designs policies and reforms, and center state coordination also they will facilitate. Only they don't do is allocation of finances, resources. So Niti Aayog doesn't allocate any funds, right? It is handled by Minister of Finance. So Finance Commission under Article 280, it will recommend the tax division and grants in aid. So what do we have to remember here for the exam? It was established in 2015 and replaced the Planning Commission. It is not constitutional but executive body, and Prime Minister is a chairperson. Vice Chairperson is appointed by the Prime Minister. The main thing you have to remember is it does not allocate anything related to finances, and the regional councils that are formed are temporary and created only for the regional issues and interstate issues, and they promote cooperative federalism and cooperation between the states. And then comes CAG. Okay, so who is CAG? What does he do? Okay, CAG is a constitutional authority and he audits and acts as a guardian of public purse. So he checks for the accountability of the executive to parliament and state legislature. And who appoints him? President appoints him, and he takes oath under Article 148 subclause 2. So he can be in term for 6 years or 65 years of age, whichever is earlier. He can resign by writing to the president. So you know, right, CAG is a constitutional body. And how he is removed? So he is removed how the judge of a Supreme Court will be removed from his position. Same method is followed. And so he will be requiring special majority of parliament so that it ensures independence of his office. Okay. So he has been safeguarded for his position. How? His salary and expenses cannot be controlled. They are directly charged on the Consolidated Fund of India. And he is not subject to the vote of parliament. And he cannot, and his conditions of services cannot be at disadvantage after his appointment, because it has to ensure the independence of his office. That's why his salaries and expenses, anything after his appointment cannot be changed or made as a disadvantage. Okay, he is not eligible for further office under government after the retirement. So if he is not eligible, so he is independent of the decisions. He don't have to work for the government or anyone, or don't favor to anyone who is present in the government. So that is how we are ensuring the independence of office of CAG. So what are his duties and powers? So his duties and powers are defined in the Powers and Conditions of Services Act 1971. So he audits, right? We initially told that CAG audits, right? So what he audits? He audits the government accounts of union, state, PSUs and any bodies that are funded by the government. So he performs different types of audit. The one is financial audit, compliance audit and performance audit. So what is his role in accounts? So before 1976, he both compiled and audited accounts. Okay, but after 1976, that is after departmentalization, he separated from compilation for union government. So he only audits for union right now, but for states, compilation and auditing. Okay, but in many states it has been separated though. And submission. So he after auditing, he submits report to the president in case of union and to governor in case of states. So then these reports are to be laid in front of parliament or state legislature. He cannot present reports directly to the legislature. So from president or governor only it goes through legislature. That's why CAG submits reports directly to the president or governor, depending on whether it is state or union. Okay. How far he has control? So he decides how far he can audit and the method in which he is auditing. And executive cannot any limit of the scope of the audit. So which accounts are linked? Public Accounts Committee examines CAG reports and Committee on Public Undertakings. So what do we have to remember for the exam? His salary is charged on CFI and it is not subjected to vote in Parliament. Okay, that is how we are ensuring independence of his office. So it is under Article 266. So COG is not part of the Parliament. It is a constitutional body and independent body, and he does not control public expenditure. He only audits. He does not present reports directly. It goes to President or Governor, and from there it goes to the legislature of union or state. Okay, he is not subordinate to finance ministry, and he audits both central and state accounts. Okay, so our next topic is ad hoc judges. So whenever court faces pendency, that is in the backlog cases, so they will bring retired judges as ad hoc judges. So 5 members have been recommended for Allahabad High Court, but CJI told they are embarrassed to sit as junior judges. So retired high court judges are brought back temporarily under Article 224A. Okay, this deals with the appointment of retired judges in high courts as ad hoc judges. So the reason is to address the backlog cases in the court. They are not part of the this ad hoc judges is not part of the allocated judges. They are just temporary, and for the utilization of the resources and knowledge and expertise of the high court judges, retired high court judges, they are brought temporarily to resolve the backlog cases. Okay, so Chief Justice of the High Court, whoever recommends the ad hoc judges, he requests the appointment, and it is made by the President of India. Okay, President prior consent is mandatory, and Chief Justice of India is consulted. So who is eligible to be appointed as ad hoc judge? He must be a retired judge of the High Court. He must give consent to act as an ad hoc judge. So what is his powers? He has all the powers under High Court judge, though he is not a permanent judge of that High Court. Temporarily he will be having all these powers. And what are the features of ad hoc judges? It is only temporary and based on the need for the usage of the resources, judicial resources, to reduce the backlog, and ad hoc judges are not part of the sanctioned strength of the judges, and they are usually assigned to the old and pending cases and may sit individually or in benches with the sitting judges. So what do we have to remember here for the exam? Under Article 224A, ad hoc judges will be appointed. Only retired High Court judges will be appointed as ad hoc judges, and Chief Justice of concerned High Court will request this, and prior consent of President is required, and CJI also consulted, and whoever has to be appointed ad hoc judge, they also must give the consent, and they are not part of the sanctioned strength, and this is only temporary, not permanent. In order to reduce backlog cases, ad hoc judges are appointed. That's all for today. For complete notes, please visit our website. Links are in the given description below. For past videos, please check our playlists, and for complete UPSC preparation, follow us on YouTube, Instagram and Telegram channels. Links are given in the description box below. Thank you.